Up, everybody? Welcome to Terrorcrave. As usual, we are your hosts for the evening. I am Lee, and I'm here with my buddy Jason. What's up, Jason? How are you, sir?
I am doing good, Lee. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastically well, my friend. On day of recording, it is the week of Thanksgiving.
It
And,
is.
you and I have talked about this before on plenty of shows about this time of year, obviously, is one of, I love it, right? Starting of that run, I guess, right around October, really October through December. It's the Halloween, followed by Thanksgiving, followed by Christmas. And
Yeah,
that's a great, great time of year, man. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
I agree. Good spooky season leading off into that kind of a family season, get together with, some family here or there, and, if they're local,
Yeah.
and then into the good feeling holiday.
into the good feeling
Yeah.
holiday.
Don't you feel like everybody like they're nicer around the holidays?
Yeah, I do believe there is
You get
that
that?
little bit of that seasonal warmth that people usually like
I
sometimes give
think so.
off, you know what I mean? But then again,
Yeah.
we also have those people that go run the other
Grinch.
gamut. Yes, the Grinches, the Scrooges, so to
Yeah.
speak. I'm glad you said Grinch. I was thinking Scrooge, but Grinch, Scrooge, they all work.
Have you seen Spirited?
I
I,
have
I, all
I
right.
have seen Spirited. And as we said, it's that time of year, right? We're into the Christmas holiday, Christmas movie gamut. Spirited's a good one. I like it actually. Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people were who don't, if you don't like a musical, excuse me, if you don't like a musical, then maybe you might not like Spirited because it is a musical. It
Yeah.
is, but you know me, I love a musical. So, so I thought it was a great movie, man. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think if you don't go into it thinking that it's going to be like just a comedy with those two guys, and it's not a lot of, probably foul mouth stuff that you would probably expect, but it is a good little. I don't know if I would put that on like the list to watch, but I'd probably have it on the list. I don't know if I'd watch it, but I'd have it there,
So was this your first
maybe.
time watching it when you watched it this year?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you didn't.
Yeah.
So this
I didn't know it was like,
a musical.
well, I kind of thought there was some singing, but I didn't know it was like a full blown musical. But don't get me wrong, I liked it. I enjoyed it, and but I didn't know. I knew the story was kind of like a Christmas Carol, but like the twist in it with Will Ferrell, you know, that was pretty good, pretty
And
good.
correct me if I'm wrong. He was Scrooge, right? He
He
used to be.
was the original Scrooge. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yep.
that's right. Yeah, he was old Ebenezer, and then he found his way, and then was his whole mission in the afterlife, so to speak, was to kind of
Yeah.
do what was done for him by
Yep.
those three Christmas spirits. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. My family probably is more in the line of you. Of thought with you
Yeah.
when it comes to that movie. They're not huge musical fans here in this house,
But yeah, it
so
was good though. But I mean, I'd have it on the list. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So this week's episode, I know we were going to jump into this two big things that have really occurred, right? We talked about and this actually, as I said, day of recording day before was the finale, the season finale, not the series finale.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
season finale for season three ended 24 hours ago. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about Alien Romulus because that's pretty also current because that was just released on Hulu
Hmm.
last week and is the current number one movie on Hulu uh, right now.
It gets released tomorrow on Prime on demand. Terrifier 3.
Ah,
Yeah. So make sure you watch that, rent it and watch it, and we'll talk about it next week.
all right. Yeah, sure. I will be taking PTO for the show on that day.
Yeah.
No, I'll be here on the show. Not much I can add though. For someone who hasn't watched it, I'll have to tag in my other half, considering she had a Terrifier marathon. It seems like a few weeks ago, and watched both of them.
There you
So
go.
I'm sure she's like anxious to watch three. To her, she said it was just so ridiculous as far as like the
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 gore.
gore out of
Yeah.
it. So
A
that's
little
why it
over the
wasn't
top.
hard for her. Yeah, a little over the top. And a lot of people, my coworkers and stuff, and you as well. I mean, they say they enjoyed it, but it was just a little over the top with the gore and stuff. Uh,
Well,
it's
that
just
that
that.
that's how any horror series is, really. If you think about it, like with Jason and Freddy and Michael, and how many kills can you get this time? But
Yeah,
they didn't have the gore. They weren't.
yeah, they
It's a
had
new
gore, but
world
not
we
like
live in.
this. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's more like, they would just kill people. They didn't hold them and
But
slowly
that was
torture
shocking. Some
them.
of the it's
Oh, it
like
was.
Jason getting hit with the machete. That was like, graphic then, but
Well, I think it's
that
more.
was
It's
almost 50 years ago now, though.
yeah, that's true. But it's also more along the lines of just the gore. Like it's like torture gore, right? Because these people, he doesn't just kill people; they're
Like
alive.
Saw. How do you feel about the Saw movies?
Saw, we've talked about this probably before. If not, I am a fan of the Saw films. I haven't seen the last three, but actually maybe four now. I haven't seen the last four. Like I didn't see the end of the current of the series that ended around 2010, 2012 or whatever. And then I didn't see the last one for whatever reason. And then I didn't see the more recent ones. I think there's been
The
three
newest
now.
one, which is
Jigsaw,
actually like a prequel. Yeah.
right, but I didn't see that one. I didn't see, I think it was called Jigsaw, and I didn't
With
see Spiral.
Spiral. Yeah.
There's three that I have missing. Or maybe actually four, like I said. There's been three outside of that main series, really. Like you said, the prequel that just came out, Jigsaw that came out like around
Yeah.
2018 probably. And
Wow. Has
then
it been that long?
yeah, and then
That's probably right.
Spiral. And I can't remember if Spiral came out. I think Spiral might have come out after Jigsaw.
I think
And that was the
Spiral
one.
was, I don't know. I thought that was before Jigsaw came out.
I'm not sure either, but I know that one was with Chris Rock
Yeah.
and
They were
uh
close,
and
like a
Samuel
year apart or
Jackson.
something.
Yeah, that actually has some star power behind it, Spiral,
Yeah. Yeah.
with Chris Rock and Samuel Jackson. And Chris
Pre
Rock,
smack.
it's
Pre
uh
smack. It was
pre
pre smack.
pre smack. Oh yes,
Yeah.
pre smack, pre slap. Yep, pre slap. I was like pre smack. I thought you were talking about what was the name? Pookie in New Jack City. And I
No,
was like,
no, no, no.
remember Chris Rock played that
Oh
character in New
yeah.
Jack City?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That made him.
it did. Yeah, but not. So I thought you would go back with that with the smack, but the slap, yeah, smack,
Yeah.
yeah, pre slap, pre smack. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that one had we know Sam Jackson and Chris Rock. So like I said, a little more star power than the Saw movies typically have. You know.
Well, no,
Um,
the guy from Picket Fences, don't just brush him aside.
oh, Costas Mandalore, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and but there was don't get me wrong. Also not Mark Wahlberg, but Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he was in them
Well,
also. So I mean, but I'm saying though, but this, I would say
they were this close to having Eric Roberts in the next one.
that close to
And
pulling him
then
up.
yeah, then they started getting better with the when Sam Jackson and them were in it. So
Ah, I see.
yeah,
That's how
that
it
that
works.
saved them. Yeah.
That's that
Sorry, Eric Roberts.
that's what did it.
Yeah, Lou Diamond Phillips.
I love it. Oh wow. Yeah, we're just hitting all the sci-fi, all the
Yeah.
former. I guess were they A-list at some point? I think they were, right? Not Eric.
They
Well,
were
Eric Roberts was for sure in the '70s, late '70s,
well,
early
he made a
'80s.
comeback in the what was it, Dark Knight.
He did.
So
But he was actually, in some films that were in the '90s. Like he was in a good movie. I thought it was a good movie with Richard Gere and Kim Basinger. Final Analysis, which was a pretty good like who and
oh yeah, yeah,
Uma
yeah.
Thurman too actually was in that. And that was
All right,
really before
give me another one.
Uma Thurman.
Give me another one.
Whether Eric Roberts was in.
Yeah.
Well, if I really needed to go back, I could say Pope of Greenwich Village, which is when he was like an A-lister for real. It was him and Mickey Rourke. That was both of them were living
Oh
high.
yeah, yeah.
They were riding high. And that movie might have been Pope of Greenwich Village.
I think they rode
Gosh,
too high.
70, yeah, right, exactly. Rode too high, like Icarus. They rode too
Yeah,
high to the sun, my
yeah,
friend.
yeah.
I flew too high to the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, so yeah, but you're okay. All right. Dark Knight. Yeah, there's been a couple other things where he was a supporting character.
All
Okay.
right.
But
Well,
yeah,
Lou
for the
Diamond
most
too.
part,
He had bats. I like bats.
Bats. Wow, that was 1999 or 98, one of those two.
Yeah.
But that was when he was just on the cut. Well, what about the first Power? Do you remember that? That was
I do remember that. What it?
1990. He was a cop, and it was some supernatural stuff going on in there with that
Yeah.
movie. But that was a good one too. And of course, we cannot. well, of course, La Bamba, but then
Oh
the
yeah. Oh yeah.
Young Guns 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, and that's what I mean. That's where I think he got the A-list.
Right, exactly.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah, but now
how did we end up on Lou Diamond Phillips?
you brought him up. You know how easy it is for us to go off on tangents. It was
I
easy.
know, I know, I know.
It was
Wait,
easy.
what, so wait, we're trying to keep it to 30 minutes. And what were we talking about? From
We're gonna
and Romulus.
on the
Yeah.
agenda, audience, stick with us because we're gonna get to it. Is yeah, like you said, from an Alien Romulus, and also I think it would be good to mention the movie that came out made a splash around this time last year, Thanksgiving, because it is Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving doesn't have a lot of horror movies as far as like a seasonal. A lot of other ones have them April Fool's Day, obviously Halloween, Friday the 13th, even Christmas horror movies, tons of Christmas horror movies.
Sure.
Thanksgiving really didn't have a whole lot going for it. So
Valentine's Day.
yeah, Valentine's Day. Yeah, there you go. Um, and Thanksgiving, I mean, there's maybe one or two, like some B-listers out there. You know what I mean? But there wasn't any
4th of
really
July.
good.
I know what you did last summer. Wasn't that during 4th of July?
I believe it was. Yes, yes. So there's always been
Yeah.
some others, but Thanksgiving didn't have a whole lot. So Eli Roth rectified that last year and put that out. So we'll talk about that as well briefly, of course,
Yeah.
because that's it's relevant. It's Thanksgiving. So let's double back to From, man. Um, Season finale last night. ep 10 episodes. These 10 episodes, I love the show so much. I mean, when I sit down and watch it, it seems like it flies by.
Yeah.
And last night's episode was like even a supersized episode, 75 minutes or 70
Yeah.
minutes or so, and it still felt like it just flew
It
by.
did.
So why don't we just take it from the top, the finale? I'll tell you what. What do you think about poor Elgin? I mean, let's take this one by one, some of the events that happened last night. For those of you who know Elgin, he's such a sweet, innocent, kind individual. That's how he's been introduced, and that's how he's been for the past two seasons.
Yeah.
And then it was just so obvious to the audience that he was being led astray by the evil forces within the town. You know what I mean? And he was. And he
But
was.
the only thing that I have, the only issue that I have with that is he actually on the bus before they got to the tree had some kind of dream. And I don't think anybody else who has been affected by the town or whatever's going on there. I think theirs happened to them even with Sarah. I mean,
Yeah,
look at her. I mean, she had been there for several weeks before she heard voices telling her to, sacrifice the boy or whatever.
yeah.
So my thing is, and this almost jumps right to the end, and some of the things that we found out is people have been there before. So is it that he's been there before and something? I don't know, man. That show had my mind just like, all right, hold on, is this going on? And because then like little conspiracy theories start within my mind, and I'm like, well, maybe it's
Right.
this. But you know what messed me up is we both watched it early on Friday or Sunday, I mean. Um, but I saw like Saturday evening because I'm trying, I don't like seeing anything about the show. I hate the next week on whatever, like Walking Dead used to do that all the time. I don't like stuff like that. I want to
Yeah,
be surprised or, you know, um, and I hate when they do on this season and they show you stuff throughout the season. That's terrible.
yeah,
I know it maybe it's to pique your interest, but I don't like that. I want to be surprised. Anyway, there, I'll go back. Um, I saw a video that it said it had been, season 4 was coming.
yes.
Okay. So with me, that told me I didn't know if this was going to be like the last season or not. And
Uh,
I think they didn't really know that until recently because the next season doesn't come out until 2026.
yep.
These
Right.
have all been 22, 23, and 24. So I think they hadn't started filming on them or, they were waiting to see, hey, is it going to do good? Is it going to do bad? And we'll see.
Well, this season was pushed back for sure because of the strike that happened last year. So that's
Yeah.
why season three was there was such a long wait in between season three and season two, to your point, right? Season two ended early summer or late spring of 2023 is when season two ended, right? And
So did it
so
originally come out in the spring? Am I wrong? It wasn't on in the fall time?
the first well, cable shows, here's the thing with those guys. They're not like a network show, right? So these and it's on MGM Plus. They can kind of come on whenever they want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They don't necessarily have to follow
Yeah,
a
that's a good
seasonal
point.
thing.
Good
You know
point.
what I mean? So, but because I think the original season of From actually came out. I remember watching that in January of 22, maybe. You know what
22.
I mean? Starting that show in January, February of 2022, and then it ran for 10 episodes. Um, so then, like I said, season two ended. So I don't know. I do believe probably, and it's funny you brought that up because I was just talking about that with my brother earlier, is I do believe there probably was something. Maybe the strikes have pushed everything back. Now everybody's schedules are a little, askew and all of that. So I don't know, because it's 2026, you're right, but there is no guarantee it's going to be January of 2026, which is only like just about,
Oh,
13 months away. That wouldn't be so terrible, but shoot, for all we know, it could come out in September of 26, which I don't think they make us wait that long. That would be
no,
literally be
I would
almost,
hope not.
that would
I
literally
would
be,
hope
that
not.
would be 2 years. You know what I
It
mean?
might
So
it would probably come out like Halloween or something, or in October or something. That would be
Well, that
crazy.
would that would be 2 years. I don't think they would do that because that was going to kill some momentum. I think it'd probably be more of the January, February of 26. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But
Well,
I can't.
remember Walking Dead used to come on. One would come on in what, August, and then it would end, and then like Fear the Walking Dead would start like the next week.
Right.
And it's not like that now because the Daryl and Carol one, that just ended what, a few weeks ago, a few weeks
Yeah.
back. But the Maggie and Negan one's not coming on until like spring,
Right. Right.
you know, which
But I think
sucks because
that's
I was ready for. They're both pretty decent.
I think so too. But I think that also is about to the strike of
The
releasing
strike.
those two
Oh,
shows.
oh well, that would
But
make sense.
but let's get back to Fern real quick. So because so we talked about Elgin. I mean, it was just very obvious to me that whole time, and I just felt so bad for the poor boy that he was being led astray by these. It didn't. Maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't, but by astray by the evil forces. Kept Fatima in a cellar. You know what I mean? It was just that was horrible. What she was going through, having to
Yeah,
give birth to whatever this thing was.
the
You know what I mean?
demon
Which we
seed,
know, yeah, the
demon
demon
pod.
seed. I mean, we know what it was now, but that's just a horrible experience. Like, so I'm like already going to next season. Is like, how is Elgin going to like I'm really anxious to see how these people move forward from this. Like how does Elgin exist in this town with this lady that he's kidnapped and held in a cellar? Now these people that he considered his friends are gouging his eye out and smashing his hand.
I don't think he'll
It's
last
just
long
like
unless. Oh, he'll probably team up with the cop lady.
yeah. I mean, it's just something else. So that's one thing I felt bad for the poor boy. I mean, some other big reveals, right? You hinted at it earlier. Jade and Tabitha, having been, I guess, in a married. How
Yeah.
many? Nobody knows how many lifetimes ago. Probably in the 50s, because these people look like they're in the 50s. So to kind of take a step
Well,
back,
yeah, but
for what we,
there were Civil War soldiers there too.
yeah, but no, there's no Civil War soldiers that are like in the
No,
demons.
oh no, yeah, 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 yeah.
You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
That's right.
Everybody that's a demon or walking around has always had this 50s looking
Yeah, I
attire.
think that's the latest. Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Just to me, the aesthetic or the way their appearance always give a 50s vibe. With the milkman and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Stuff like that,
Yeah,
which you
yeah.
don't really see milkman anymore. Which
The
nobody talks
bus
about those
driver
jobs going away.
with
You
the
know?
hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. So that sounds like they were apparently there. I'll tell you what, I was really surprised. My cousin Cynthia, I was texting with her yesterday. It never once occurred to me. And I usually pride myself in being able to pick up on things and pick up on foreshadowing. I don't know why. It never once occurred to me that Tabitha was the reincarnation of Victor's mother.
Uh,
My thesis, my hypothesis was that she was Victor's sister somehow, who had been, and even when they started talking about it last night, when he was like, I think this is her body. It was just pieces of it I couldn't really find. When he was talking about
Yeah.
burying his sister, I was like,
Yep.
oh my gosh. So that's that. But then turned out it's exactly what my cousin had said. She was like, I think that's Eloise, or I think her name was Eloise, um, uh, reincarnated. But then come to find out, not only has she been reincarnated once, but they have been, her and Jade were obviously a couple back in the 50s or whatever, sacrificed, sounds like the townsfolk there decided to make a deal with this evil force, which I'm believing is fairies of some sort, fae. You know what I mean? Um,
Really? You think
yeah,
so?
that's my hypothesis again, is that I believe it was a fairy of some sort. These are fairies that are doing this, and
Puckwudgie.
yep,
Remember that?
yep, I do. So these made a deal with the fairies. They, to live, to have everlasting life, to be immortal. But I don't know if they realized they would be monsters also, right? But the fact of the matter is, they sacrificed their children. They sacrificed all of their children in order to get this wish fulfilled. So now they're all immortal, and I think this town is this little pocket is there. A lot of the times, if you know anything about faith or not faith, fairy lore, I don't know a lot about it, but I've been reading up on it now, and just because I believe that's what it is. These things these fairies can do is they can create another world inside of the real world. And then that's where this is. So they created this little pocket so these demons could just be there. They bring people there to terrorize them. They bring people there to be able if one of
Feed.
them is killed, to feed, obviously, and if one of them is killed, to be brought back to life. I'm to be able to be, they can just magically impregnate somebody, and which is what, Boyd killed their leader last season,
Yep.
and therefore he was magically brought back through birth.
I kind of thought that that's what was going to happen. Well, I'll say like when she got real pregnant,
Yeah.
and then when the birth happened, I said that's got to be what it is. It's going to be one of those is going to be born, and I kind of figured it was going to be the guy smiling, the milkman smiling. That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Yes,
But
that was pretty wild. I just didn't see I never thought about Jade being reincarnated as Christopher. That just never occurred to me. And apparently, like I said, they were married at one point, and they were trying to save the kids. Like I guess they probably went against the townsfolk. Everybody, all the
yeah,
other townspeople
yeah,
decided they wanted to do this. These two were like, no, I'm not going to do it. I think that little girl who came up out of all the children when they heard the music
that was
playing,
theirs.
that was theirs. The one little girl who came all the way up to them and was like, I'm gooey, I'm gooey.
I'm glad you remembered that word. I was going to ask you if you did.
Which obviously
I'm
we know
gooey.
it means remember now.
Yeah,
All right. So that was one huge revelation for Jim.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
guess now that I think about it, you should have
Oh,
known that
he's
was
not
going to
gone for
happen.
good. He's
I
not
don't
gone for
know.
good.
I'm hoping he's not, but his story would make sense if it does come to an end right now, because he was kind of an ass all season. Wasn't falling, didn't want to believe
I
anything,
get
was
that.
pushing back
I
against
agree.
Tabitha.
I agree.
Then he came around in the last few episodes. Not only that, but he thought, hey, it's music notes. You know what I mean? So came in as the hero. It was like, this is what it is. They were able to figure everything out. And then bam. So that was kind of his redemption arc, so to speak. You know what I mean? It was following in line. And so, but I think they have,
Oh,
what's interesting to me is why the man in yellow who revealed himself, who we
yeah,
obviously know now was the man who was talking to Jim and said, "Don't let your wife dig
yep,
that hole or
yep,
whatever." You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Stop digging. Yep.
Yeah, stop digging. He, uh, killed Jim in retaliation for the music being played. That Jade, he could play a hell of a violin or whatever he said,
Yeah.
but he can't punish them because maybe if he kills them, they just know they'll come back again. You know what I mean? That's why he couldn't kill Tabitha or Jade, and I think that's why he was taking his revenge out on Jim.
Who do you think he was? The mayor?
I don't know. Maybe the head of the fairies.
Yeah.
I know I'm really, I know I'm
No, you've got
throwing
me.
hard into fairies there.
I like your fairy conspiracy. I
I know
do. I
I'm
think I don't know if it's fairies, but I think it's something along that line.
yeah. Well,
I'll
it's
give you
obviously
that.
something to do with no pun intended, fairy tales, right? Because they're relying so much on Ethan's stories. You
Yeah.
know, he's his stories, all these fairy tales, all these stories that he would read, they're always kind of falling in line with what's going on in that town. You know, the story, what do you call her? The story chaser or the story guide, his sister he was talking to, right?
Oh
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
seems to know all of these things that kind of coincide with the events that are in the town some way. So there definitely is some type of fables. I don't want to keep saying fairy tales, but you know, fables or something that this story is coming from. You know what I
So
mean? In my
no, I
opinion.
get that. I get that. So I think with Jim, I don't think he's gone. I think he's going to be saved. When his daughter came around, she had shorter hair. Did you
Yeah, she
notice
was
that?
definitely. Oh yeah,
So I
she's
think
not the
she's
same
figured
one.
out she went back to that to those ruins and
Right.
ended up down in that what I call the dungeon or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that she has figured out that that can be almost like a time machine.
No,
And she,
you're right.
you know what I mean?
But her brother set up right out off the bat, though. You know, he was like, yeah, because we obviously know Tabitha, not Tabitha, Julie. We know now she was the one who threw the rope down to Boyd, right? That was a question that was
Yep.
answered. No one ever
Yep.
knew how that rope was thrown to Boyd. She did that. So, but what Ethan specifically said, and all of his little rules of engagement or whatever have been true. You know, whatever he said is that you can see the story, but you cannot change it. What has happened or will happen. What will happen has happened or something like that. Whatever
Oh,
the
so
saying
you don't
is.
think that she can save him?
No, I think she was trying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was like, "Oh, this is where." She didn't say this is where it happens. She said
This
this
is
is
when.
when it
Yeah, this
happens.
is when it
You
happens.
know, so she was trying to save him because she knows he died there. You
Uh,
know, he probably died there before without Julie's come
assistant. Yeah.
assists coming there to even say anything and stop anything. You know what I mean? But she knew that's where his body was found probably, and that's why she went there to try to stop it. You know when it was found, I guess. That's why she went there to try to stop it. But as we found out last night, there
A little
is no
too late.
stopping it. You know,
A little too late.
she should have said, in my opinion, also as opposed to said, "Hey, Dad, help!" and run.
Yeah.
That way, he would have followed her to be like, "What's going on? What you know what I mean?" As opposed to staying there and then having that man because you know it just didn't make any sense. But who knows who the man in yellow is? You know, again, I hated it and I loved it, the finale, and I hated it all at the same time because all it does is give you more. Answers a
Oh,
couple
and
questions here and there, but it just I mean, it answers some things, but it gives you more questions. That's
yep.
all
Well,
it
it's
does.
like the cliffhangers would build up. And
Yeah,
this one and then this one came along and then all of a sudden it all gets tied together. So
yeah.
I thought it was a good series
Yeah, it's definitely
finale
a great series. I love it too. So
or season finale.
have we covered all the hot topics? Let's see. We covered the Elgin storyline. Fatima, we talked about her, of course, but
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
Fatima, she still got to go back and they're going to find out that she killed what's her name.
Millie. So they got to deal with
That's
all
going to
that.
come out.
You know, and it's funny when Millie, not funny, when Millie got killed though. I was honestly thinking that one I did foreshadow. I was like, either Millie is bad
I thought she was bad.
or she's about to die because she was getting a lot of camera time. But
Yeah.
you know, she was always buzzing around.
They
You
went
know
back to
what I
Walking
mean?
Dead.
Exactly. She got a lot
Yeah.
of that camera time. She was buzzing around a lot. And
I thought she
so
was bad for sure.
yeah.
I thought
So
she was like a spy for them or something.
yeah, I did too. But no, so we covered Elgin Fatima, we covered Jade and Tabitha's story, which were that was the big events. Um Boy down there in I guess it's got to start next season, right from there. They can't be a time jump. We got to see Boyd getting out of that can or that cavern, you know what I mean, and all of that. We don't know yet who the kimono lady is or what that's all about. You know, the lady who kept appearing. But I'm trying to think if we did. The cop lady is annoying to me a little bit because she's just all up in everybody's business, thinking she,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I think we've hit it all. Yeah. Those are all the main events, but definitely a great finale. I definitely enjoyed it as well.
Well, and don't forget, give Sarah credit for getting the
Sarah.
location.
Yeah, Sarah. She had to do it. She was like you know, because she really
Yeah.
cares for Boyd, you know, and
Yep.
she knew that she didn't want him to have to do what he was going to do
I
in
thought
order to
she
find
was going to
Proxima.
kill him. I thought when they got up there and opened the door, he was going to be dead, which he might. No, I guess he's still going to be
No,
around. He'll just have a
he's
patch
gonna
from
alive.
now on.
Yep, he'll wear a patch.
Mm.
But I liked the camera work last night when he she came in the room and sat down. The camera was at a like it kind of was shot from the floor up,
Yeah,
so the us the audience could see that tool that was laying there, and
yeah.
I was like, oh my God! I called that. Ask Quinn. I told him. I was like, dude, she's gonna poke his eye out. This is where it's going, and that's exactly where it went. So I don't know. I'm thinking I've been trying to decide will Sarah be ostracized even further, or
No, I think they're going to be like, well, maybe by the lady cop, but I think by like Boyd, he's just going to be like, you did what you had to do. You're right.
yeah,
I couldn't have done it. But we totally forgot what's his name with the big scar on his face.
Randall.
Yeah,
Yeah, Randall. I don't know. So he's got to be him and
he's like infected.
the
He's got to
the
be
doctors.
infected.
Yeah, because he keeps hearing not the
Well,
locust,
yeah, even from outside of the same like same thing that happened to him and to Julie and to the other the nurse.
yeah.
They this is different now because he they could have killed him. Why they didn't, I don't know.
Well, I think it's what Boyd said. Maybe it's another reason, but I think it could be at least the explanation that was given, or what Boyd thinks is to show that you know
Oh, they're trying to break him.
to break him. But not only that, when people were during the day, kind of people were kind of living their life and going about their normal life, and he was like, when they see Randall,
Yeah.
they'll know. They'll always kind of be reminded. You know what I mean?
Oh well.
That's what Boyd said at least. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, another great finale. I do love that
Yep.
show. I really do,
Yep.
and I hate now that we got to go for at least a
Oh,
year
I
for
do too.
sure.
I do too.
Yeah.
But it'll be good.
So
Anticipation.
anticipation is something. Yep. So moving on to Alien Romulus. That was the movie that came out in August that really, for all intents and purposes, revitalized the Alien series.
Mhm.
It was a hit, uh, box office wise, probably the biggest hit that an Alien movie has had forever. I mean,
Yeah.
not forever, but it's maybe since Aliens. Really, if you think about it, none of the Aliens have been box office hits. We had Alien. Well, actually, I take that back. Prometheus did really well, made over like $100 million, even though that wasn't technically. It is an Alien movie, right? About the beginning of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well,
and
what
then
was the other one?
Aliens.
The one that came that's supposed in the timeline is after Prometheus
Alien Covenant. That one
Covenant.
didn't
Yeah, yeah.
do well financially. I think it maybe topped off domestically at
Oh,
50
I thought it
million.
was decent though.
Oh,
I'm glad they showed that.
I liked the
Like
movie.
what happened to that
Yeah.
station or whatever that she had to go to.
Yeah, no, I liked the
I like
movie a
that.
lot actually. I liked Alien Covenant,
Yeah.
but it just didn't do well financially because Ridley Scott was supposed to, finish off that trilogy.
Yeah.
With
But
Prometheus and
that's
Alien
fine though because
Covenant.
it gave us that step in
Yeah,
between. It filled that
it
space.
did,
And it's
but
cool.
he didn't get to finish that third movie that he wanted to tell. Because gotta remember, this was a big deal back in 2000. Gosh, 12? No,
Oh,
maybe
because they got him to
10
do it.
when Ridley Scott came back. Because Ridley Scott's the man who kicked off this whole
Yeah,
franchise
yeah.
with the very first Alien,
Hmm.
which means going back to Alien Romulus, I loved all the cool tie-ins.
Yeah.
The alien that was found in the very beginning of the movie was the alien that was ejected by Ripley.
People are
So that
stupid, man.
I
Why
know,
would
right?
they? You know what I
That
mean?
Yep. So that was a cool tie-in. Ash, the android,
Yeah.
it was the
Yep.
same model. I like how they
That
did,
was awesome.
having him back. So
Hmm.
that was a cool tie-in. Um,
That was all CG.
yeah, it had to be because that movie came out in what first Alien came out in 79. So
Yeah, it was. Oh
and
well.
he played him, yeah, so that's a
Well,
long time
Ralph
ago.
Macchio, come on.
Yeah, true, but he was a kid. That guy was definitely not a kid. So,
Yeah.
so, um, so, I thought it was so I say all that to say this movie kind of has revitalized, turned a much younger audience onto Aliens. You know, not only that, but we got the new Alien TV show that comes out here, I think this summer, which is kind of cool. Uh, but back to the movie was good. I thought it was good. A lot of great horror. The director was fantastic. The guy who directed the latest Evil Dead, and also, oh my gosh, the other movies, but the guy, oh my God, I wish I never even brought it up because I can't think of it now. the blind man who
Oh,
was in his house. Uh, but he directed that movie as well. And then, like I said, latest Evil Dead. Is it Don't Sight? I don't know what it's called. But anyway, a great horror director, and he really did a good job of bringing the aliens to a new audience.
yep,
Um, I, and I liked how they've been talking about doing an alien human hybrid for years, and they kind of did that a little bit with
yeah,
Ripley in Aliens 4 or Alien 4. Um, but they really went with it. I mean, it was kind of cool how it looked like an engineer
yeah,
from
yeah.
Prometheus in the
That's what
face.
I thought too. That's what I thought. It took that part of, I guess, human or whatever it was, and it kind of made it more in that likeness than the classic alien that we're used to. I
Yeah,
thought that was pretty awesome.
it was. I thought so too. Yeah, so no, for the most part, I thought this movie was great. It did a great job, just like Prey did a few years
Yeah,
ago, of kicking the Predator franchise back into gear.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then part two of that coming out.
There is a part two of that coming out as well,
Yeah.
which will be released theatrically, unlike going straight to Hulu. What were your thoughts on it, dude?
Um, I like, well, just like with Covenant, I like how I didn't know when exactly this one took place. I knew it was after Ripley, but I didn't know if it was like after like Alien 2 or even
It's
Alien
not.
3. I didn't know it took place like it's, you know, pretty close to when,
Ripley's still in.
it happened with her.
Ripley's still in the
Yeah, yeah,
hibernation
yeah.
somewhere. She hasn't been found. So this movie, the whole way these movies go is, if you were looking at the timeline, so to speak, right, is Prometheus followed by Alien Covenant, followed by the first Alien, followed by Alien Romulus, because that's Alien
Hmm.
Romulus is 20 years after the first film.
Yep.
And then Aliens, of course, the Marines, and then Alien 3, and then Alien 4. And
Yeah.
then that's really, as far as that's where it's stopped. That's kind of a self-contained. I don't really count the Aliens versus Predators series. I think they're kind of
No,
outside
no, that's
of, I mean,
outside.
I liked them, but
Yeah.
they're outside of the more Predator and Alien storylines. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Agree. Agree.
Yeah, they're outside of that. But so that's but yeah, no, I thought the only thing I didn't like is, why would that girl inject herself? She did that to
Oh,
herself.
yeah. Well, whatever. Yeah, that was just dumb.
It was like, you're on the ship, you're safe.
She was probably in a lot of pain, I guess.
I guess I thought that was going to help her, but no, all I did was make she killed her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
We had just watched From right before Romulus, or maybe we watched, I can't remember, I think we watched From first, my son and I, and it was just, both of those, they both had birth scenes where they gave birth to these little big larva things or whatever, these eggs, basically. You know what I mean? That they both had, so it was like interesting that was back to back. I was like, oh, lots of crazy birth scenes in these films.
So that was a good day of TV for you because you got to
Oh,
see the
fantastic.
Cowboys win,
Oh gosh, don't
and
bring up the
then
Cowboys win, dude.
hey,
We should have won
we're
that
still going to
game.
the Super Bowl.
Oh, are
That's
you
all I'm
now? You
saying.
think
Yeah.
I don't, the Cowboys ain't going nowhere near the Super Bowl, brother.
Hey, we get to play you again. We get to play you again.
Yeah, what is that game in January? Has to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we play again in January. Hopefully we win this one. But no, I don't want to talk about that. This is our third straight loss in a row. Gosh, we started off. I mean, it's like
Like our first win, and I don't know how long,
that
like
was
week
y'all's first. That was y'all's first
four or
win,
something like that. Yeah,
and we go down against. Oh, that was terrible. Terrible, I say.
yeah.
No, but
That's how it
if you
works.
yep, it does. That's the way it works. So no, yeah, that was a negative actually. But the other two experiences, the sports part of the day, very negative. The entertainment part, film,
Oh,
very positive. I
I
love
thought the win
From.
was entertaining too.
Of course
Just
you would. Get
saying.
out of here. Stop talking about that.
Hey, we did exactly what I hate. Um, when they have everything up for October for Halloween in October, and as soon the day after Halloween, all you see is Christmas stuff. Even before
Yep.
Halloween, you see Christmas stuff going up. And we started talking about Spirited earlier, and then went back around to the Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So we did the same thing. We skipped right over Thanksgiving.
It did. No, but
Shame.
we'll end with Thanksgiving right now.
Yeah.
If you have not seen Thanksgiving, guys, check it out. It is on Netflix. As I stated before, there's not a whole lot of. I do like the premise of Thanksgiving, how they, this all spun
Yeah.
off from a fun trailer in the Grindhouse series, that Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did. Gosh, back in 2006, maybe 2007, and for those not to know, an old Grindhouse theater showed lots of double features, or just maybe
Hmm.
had these movie marathons, or a lot of B and C list films, um, exploitation flicks. And so what they did is they did an exploitation movie. They made two movies, and then they put a bunch of fake trailers in the beginning of it, in the middle of it, and a lot of people took to those to some of the trailers, right? Machete being the first,
Hmm.
the fake Machete trailer. They made that into a movie, and then Thanksgiving being the other, that fake trailer for Thanksgiving, and then we got that movie. It took them a long time, almost 20 years later, but we
Yeah.
got it. We got it last year. I thought that was a very entertaining. I love a good slasher flick anyway.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of, I thought it was a pretty good movie. That's a little bit more on the gory side that I typically do like, because they did have some more. I guess the
They
worst part
did.
was being in the stove, or the oven, yeah, the oven, I should say.
Yeah. What a
That
terrible
was
way to go.
pretty bad. But other than that, it's a pretty good flick. I do like Eli Roth. He
Yeah.
always has a little bit of humor into his films as well. So it's a great good movie if you guys haven't checked it out. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and there's talk about a sequel.
Yeah. Well, I think they should do a sequel, and it kind of led up to it anyway.
Yeah,
But I agree with you. I like it. To me, it kind of had that Scream or I know what you did last summer type vibe to it, with not really knowing who the killer is, trying to guess who it is, and what. How far along were you before you thought you knew who the killer was?
I can't lie on this one. I for the longest time avoided spoilers for this film, and then I saw something about it's been out for a year
Yeah.
so I'm watching it now, about Patrick Dempsey and being the killer or something like that. Like, I just saw a brief little, I didn't even read the whole article. I was just skimming through Facebook or something,
Yeah.
and something said that. So I saw it, like I just glimpsed at it, but I kept moving, and I tried to put it out of my mind, tried to put it out of my mind. I was like, no, let's, maybe it was something about talking about something else.
Yeah.
But so I can't, that one I can't say, because I kind of was thinking it was him the whole time, only because I had by accident seen a spoiler. So that, what about you? I mean,
Um,
since you went into it completely blind, you would know.
I Ethan called it right from the start, because with me, I'm always okay. Well, it's usually going to be the boyfriend or the ex-boyfriend or something like that, but they made it so obvious that it wasn't the ex-boyfriend in this one. There's no way it was.
Yeah.
For one thing, a height difference.
Oh
I
yeah.
could, you know what I mean. But anyway, I what I thought was funny is when I was telling my youngest son, Ethan, that that's how it used to be. Used to be, go to Walmart 5 a.m., get the door busted, right? Is that what they call them? Door busters?
Yeah, yeah.
Get in and get, whatever, the microwave or whatever it was. And that's really stopped now over the past few years
Well,
with like
everybody's doing all
Amazon
that.
and
Yeah, everybody's doing the at-home shopping, you know what I mean? Online shopping, I should say. But yeah, so that's not as many, and that's why, I mean, we could go into a whole different conversation about outside of horror and entertainment, talk about all these you know, brick and mortar stores closing down, which
yeah.
I thoroughly believe within the next 7 years we won't have any more Best Buys. They stuck out a long time. Circuit City died, went back in
Oh
2006
yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
So Best Buy gave it another good 20-year run outside of that, but I don't foresee them being around much longer.
I think
This
if
in
they're
my
smart,
area,
they'll do like Amazon and just do it so, order through us and
right.
get it in a couple of days. If they
Yeah,
did something like that, they could survive.
they might be able to, but I'm just saying it's just interesting. I mean, I used to love going to a Best Buy and walking around and looking at stuff, but I mean, in
Sure.
my area alone, there's definitely like two that have closed down in the past 2 years. There was, so I mean, they're definitely. I foresee that being the next big brick
That's
and
one of the
mortar.
only places you can find these action figures, like if you want to go look at them.
Yeah,
Although now, I mean, Walmart has them now, and Target's had them for a while, but uh, I don't know. It's been a while since I bought one, but you're going to pay like $30, $35 for one now.
Is that a Masters of the Universe He-Man?
Yes.
No. Is
Yeah.
that what it is? Is
Yeah.
that He-Man and Skeletor?
Hmm.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool, man.
No, it's just He-Man.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it was a
Yeah.
double box. I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's not the old original one. It's one that it's 40th anniversary or something, but
Yeah,
Ethan got it for me.
that's really cool. And you keep all your stuff in boxes, right? You don't open anything.
Oh yeah, I don't open anything. I've got some stuff that I bought like on eBay that was already out of the box when I first started collecting because I just wanted to start getting like characters. I
Yeah.
wanted, start with the Mount Rushmores and this and that. So that's why I've got like a Michael Myers and a Jason and a Freddy that aren't in a box.
Oh,
But
cool.
then, at first you do something because you kind of like it, you enjoy it, and then you start collecting.
Yeah.
And not to say it's not enjoyable anymore, but now you're like, oh, this is worth so much more. And look, the corner's not bent or the plastic isn't scratched or anything. So
Right.
no,
Oh, good stuff, bro.
my poor kids
There you
seeing all these toys come in.
go.
No, don't touch it.
Right.
Can I see
Oh
that?
man.
Can we open it? No,
No, no, no.
no.
Well, all right, my friend. I know we said we were, I think we might have said it all right now.
Yeah, I think so for
Yeah, we've
this
covered a
time.
lot for this time, indeed. So yeah, guys, thumbs up for me on From, thumbs up for me on Alien Covenant. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, well that too, but Alien Romulus and Thanksgiving. So definitely, if you haven't seen either any of these, if you've never seen From, go check it all out now. It's usually on Amazon Plus, not Amazon Plus, Amazon, or on Prime. A lot of the times it's on there, but you have to go to MGM Plus, which you can get through Prime,
yeah,
to see it. It is the number one show on MGM Plus right now. So it has gotten better raised in the rankings or every year. So go check that out. Like I said before, Alien Romulus is now on Hulu. It's the number one flick on Hulu, so check that out there. And Thanksgiving you can find on Netflix. So we just gave you guys some three good shows or two good movies and a good show to check out over your Thanksgiving break if you haven't watched them yet.
yeah. A good series on right now. Before with Billy Crystal, who is it's also produced or directed by Eli Roth.
Oh, oh,
Yep,
that's cool. I didn't know that.
it's a good series.
Yeah. Well, good. He needs a little bounce
Not
back.
as much horror as Thriller, but
Right.
it's got some pretty jaw-dropping moments in it, so I would recommend that.
Well, he does. He needs a bounce back. I mean, that movie he came out with, Borderlands, he was director of that. That came out in August. I know a lot of people. I've never played the game, but there's a lot of people who love that game. And that movie came out and totally flopped big time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was. And Eli Roth directed that, unfortunately.
You've
So,
got to do a really good job if you're going to do a big title of something like that. You know
yep,
what I
yep,
mean?
yeah. Well, Jason, my friend, it's been fun as
It
always.
has.
Yeah, man. Guys, thank you very much for checking us out. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Do follow us. Jason, what is the Instagram page too?
Probably BT Haunts.
All right, BTOS.
I don't know. I'll throw it up like right now on
Yeah,
the screen.
exactly. We'll throw that up
I'm
there,
not the tech
guys.
guy.
So follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. All right. Well, listen, thank you guys very much for joining us. Jason, it's been good, my friend.
Same Lee, always, man.
All right, buddy. Later.